Dive into the captivating story of Lukas. A journey full of secrets, passion, and unexpected turns. A man who must confront the shadows of the past and risk everything in the process. Are you ready to enter his world and experience the unexpected? Find the answers you've been searching for and discover a story that will keep you breathless until the last second. Elena sat at the kitchen table, her hands trembling with anger and disappointment. Tears welled up in her eyes as she scrolled through the messages on Marcus' phone. It wasn't the first time she had found evidence of his infidelity, but this time it was too much. The broken promises, shattered dreams, and the feeling of betrayal weighed heavily on her soul. She took a deep breath and decided she had had enough. It was time to take a radical step to break free from this unhealthy cycle. She knew she couldn't stay in a relationship that was characterized by lies and deceit any longer. It was time to regain control of her own life. In her desperation and anger, Elena left the house to clear her head. She walked through the city streets, her thoughts swirling wildly. Suddenly, her gaze fell upon a man sitting on a bench. He wore worn-out clothes, and his weary expression revealed that life hadn't been kind to him thus far. It was Lukas, a homeless man who caught her attention. Something in his gaze and posture touched her heart. Despite her own pain, she couldn't ignore that he, too, was going through his own struggles. She felt a strange connection to him, a connection that went beyond the surface. Without hesitation, Elena approached Lukas. "Excuse me," she began tentatively, "I noticed you sitting here alone. Are you okay?" Lukas lifted his head and looked at Elena, surprised. It was evident that not many people cared about his well-being. "Thank you for asking," he replied in a soft voice. "I'm not doing particularly well, but that's nothing new." Elena could see the fatigue and hunger in Lukas' eyes. Without thinking twice, she offered, "Would you like to come with me? I have a warm home and something to eat. At least for tonight." Lukas was speechless. No one had ever made such an offer to him. Mistrust and skepticism fought against hunger and the longing for a safe place. But in the end, hope prevailed. "That would be very kind of you," he finally replied, his voice tinged with gratitude. Elena and Lukas walked together to her house. Along the way, she told him about her failed relationship and the broken promise that had prompted her to approach him. Lukas listened attentively and could empathize with her pain. They were both people who had been disappointed by others, and in that moment, they found solace and understanding in each other's company. As they opened the front door, Elena led Lukas into the living room and offered him a seat on the couch. She went into the kitchen and prepared a simple meal, contemplating how she could help Lukas. She knew that offering him a warm meal and a place to sleep wasn't enough. Lukas needed more. He needed a chance to get his life back on track. After serving the food, Elena and Lukas sat down together and began to talk. Lukas shared his past, the circumstances that had led him to the streets, and his struggle to find a way out of homelessness. Elena listened attentively, her empathy growing with each story he shared. She realized that she had the opportunity not only to temporarily take him in but also to help him get back on his feet. She had resources, contacts, and the willingness to support him. It would require time, patience, and hard work, but Elena was ready to take on this challenge. In the following weeks, Elena and Lukas developed a close bond. She helped him find a job and offered assistance in finding a place to live. Together, they experienced the highs and lows of life, and with each hurdle they overcame, their connection grew stronger. Lukas was not only grateful for the material help Elena provided but also for the emotional support and the trust she placed in him. Through their relationship, he regained belief in himself and started leaving his past behind. Elena, in turn, discovered that helping Lukas also brought healing to her own wounds. By giving him a chance, she found a new perspective on her own life situation. She felt her heart opening, and the burden of betrayal and disappointment slowly lifted from her. Time passed as Elena and Lukas worked together on their fresh start. The support they offered each other helped them achieve their goals and fulfill new dreams. They became a family connected not by blood ties but by love and mutual support. And so, life wrote its own story about a woman weary of her husband's infidelity who brought a homeless man home. It was a tale of forgiveness, healing, and the courage to embark on a new path. A story that showed how something new and beautiful could emerge from the fragments of the past. That was just the beginning of their journey together. What the future held for Elena and Lukas, no one could say for certain. But they knew they were ready to embark on this journey together, side by side, ready to face all the challenges and uncertainties of life. One day, as the summer drew to a close, Elena and Lukas sat on the porch of their small house. The sun had just set, painting the sky in warm hues of red. A gentle breeze rustled through their hair and the leaves of the trees. Elena placed her hand on her stomach and felt a slight movement. It was a delicate flutter that made her heart sing. She had suspected it already, but now it was certain: she was pregnant. A feeling of joy and happiness surged through her, and at the same time, she was overcome by a wave of fear and worry. Memories of her previous miscarriage flooded her thoughts. Lukas noticed the change in Elena's expression and gently placed his hand on hers. "What's wrong, my love?" he asked, concerned. Elena looked into his loving eyes and smiled softly. "I'm pregnant, Lukas," she whispered, a mixture of joy and vulnerability in her voice. "But I can't ignore the fear that the same thing might happen to us again." Lukas squeezed her hand tighter and gently stroked her belly. "I understand your worries, Elena, but we can't let the past determine our future. We found each other, and together we will overcome this challenge. Our love and support will be stronger than any fear." Elena felt a wave of gratitude in her heart. She wasn't alone in this journey. Lukas was by her side, and together they would fight for their unborn child and do everything to protect it. Weeks passed, and Elena and Lukas stayed strong together. They visited a doctor who accompanied them through the pregnancy, and they received good news. The baby was developing healthily, and gradually, joy began to outweigh their fears. One day, as Elena sat in the garden, enjoying the warm rays of the sun, she suddenly felt an intense movement in her belly. It was a distinct kick that surprised her and filled her with happiness. She smiled and whispered the names they had chosen for their daughters, Sophie and Marie. It was a moment of certainty and new beginnings. Elena and Lukas knew they would give their daughters everything they needed. They had learned that life was unpredictable, that there were ups and downs, but they had also experienced that love, unity, and faith in the goodness of people were their greatest strengths. And so, Elena and Lukas entered a new phase of their lives. They had formed a family built on unconditional love and mutual respect. Each day was a gift, and they were determined to make the most of this precious time. Sophie and Marie were born, filling the house with joy and laughter. Elena and Lukas cherished every moment with their daughters, observing their first steps with fascination, listening to their heartfelt giggles, and being touched by their curiosity and innocence. As the girls grew up, Elena and Lukas were always by their side, supporting and encouraging them. They shared with them the challenges their family had overcome and instilled in them the values of compassion, empathy, and resilience. Sophie and Marie learned the importance of being there for each other and helping others in need. With the passing years, their house expanded. Elena and Lukas had managed to fulfill their dreams and build a successful business. They supported social projects and helped other homeless individuals start anew. Their own fate had shown them how important it was to give others a chance and offer hope. Life was not always perfect, but Elena and Lukas knew they had made the right choices. They had managed to break free from the chains of the past and create a future filled with love and happiness. Their story was proof that even from the darkest moments, something positive could emerge if one had the courage to take new paths. And so, Elena, Lukas, Sophie, and Marie lived in their small house, surrounded by love and harmony. They had created their own little world where the past played a role but didn't have the power to influence their happiness. They were a family that stuck together, supported one another, and cherished each day as a precious gift. The story of Elena, who grew tired of her husband's infidelity and brought a homeless man home, had transformed into a story of new beginnings, healing, and unconditional love. A story that showed it was never too late to change one's life and find true happiness. And thus concludes the first chapter of their journey together, as life goes on and new adventures and challenges await them. But they were ready to embrace them, strengthened by the experiences of their past and the love they felt for each other. What do you think were the decisive moments that led Elena and Lukas to leave their past behind and build a new life filled with love and happiness? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let us know your perspective. I'm excited to hear your opinions and engage in discussions. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to discover more inspiring stories and keep growing this community of exchange and enthusiasm. Thank you for your support, and let's celebrate the diversity and beauty of human life together.